the funny things that happen. Maybe we messed up while we were talking in class or something. It was a really nice way to meet other people who I also wouldn't have met otherwise in completely different majors and clubs. But I think Pilates is probably something that I'm going to carry through the rest of my life because it's such great exercise, low impact, stress relief, and it just makes me so happy. It really does.
It just keeps you grounded, right? It kind of keeps you grounded.
It definitely does. It's such a great way for me to just not think about anything else for an hour.
And it's also great to have a side hustle.
Yes, it always is.
Always.
That is true.
So I was going to ask you, but I think I probably could answer it myself, but I was going to ask you, how did you juggle the art history, and anthropology at William & Mary? Must have been supremely stressful, all of those things. I mean,
It was pretty stressful at times, definitely. I think, first of all, I just really love art, and I think that helped a lot, that I had two subjects that I really genuinely enjoyed. I think that makes things a lot easier. Even when you're stressed, at least you like what you're writing the 10-page paper about. I also found that art history actually overlapped a lot more than I thought it would with anthropology. Especially some of the classes I took that focused on more modern subjects like urbanism. I took a few classes in architecture and urbanism, and those were some of my favorite classes where we got to talk about the design and artistic aspect of cities, but also some of the unique social issues that go on in cities. And I think combining those two is probably one of my favorite learning or academic experiences in college. So at least I was able to tie them together. Even when the workload was a lot, it was enjoyable.
So that really lends itself to what you're going to be doing, which is volunteer work. And then I heard some whispers about law school. It makes a lot of sense. I mean, it's totally all aligned. Is that how you got to that point about thinking about law school too?
Yeah, I think that it just became apparent to me, especially after I graduated and I've had this summer to not think about school and to reflect.
Yeah.
I think it's just become apparent that where my interests lie, especially in the human rights field, with my skills and just my desire to make an impact, I think that's going to be the best path for me, is going to law school and focusing in on human rights. So that I'm happy that I've had this time to reflect, because I think I was resisting law school for a while, just thinking, oh my gosh, I don't know if I can do more school. But I think it's definitely going to be the right path for me now.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about it, how you're going to be advocating for other people, and you've been doing that, like basically your whole life in different ways. So it makes so much sense. But more school, I totally get it. I didn't go back to graduate school for like 7 years. I was so burnt out. But yeah, so you are going to take some time and do some other things. So that's cool. You'll have some balance. And the Pilates, don't forget about the Pilates.
I will. I'll always keep that going.
Okay, there's one more thing I want to talk about before we wrap up, and that is the career journey at William & Mary. What was that like? What were some of the themes you saw that you observed with your friends of people, what they were kind of experiencing? Like, what were the pain points that you saw and experienced?
Sure, yeah. I think a lot of what I've seen, at least some of the major points of, I guess, disappointment or just frustration with the job search. There are so many entry-level positions out there that ask for blank years of experience, 1 year, 2 year, 3 years. And a lot of times they'll specify full-time experience. And I think that's something that I've heard a lot of my friends struggling with coming out of school. Some of my friends I know are really amazing. They're some of the most qualified people that I know coming out of college, and they're still struggling with, I think, the self-doubt that comes with seeing things like that, like seeing, oh man, I don't have that experience. But also just the fact of sometimes not getting jobs because of that. I think that is probably one of the biggest things I've seen as a frustration point, even though, my parents have always told me, try it anyway. What's the worst that can happen? You don't get the job. But it's still definitely frustrating.
Yeah, I mean, it's a matter of being able to navigate and walk the line with these things where, the companies ask for, they just put it out there, but, there's no way that they absolutely get that. There's no way that they get that in every single candidate for every single job. It's all about what each person, their own personal selling value proposition, what they bring to the table, and it's making that connection. But you guys, from what I see, you guys don't necessarily know that that's really how it works. Because all you see is like what you get bombarded with from the career office, from online, from what you read. So that's where I think we can really help to come in. Organizations like mine come in and actually just help educate you guys to the level where, how would you know? That's not what you've been doing.
Yeah.
And you're right.
I
These
think
people are incredible.
That's true.
The people like you that are.
It would be really helpful to even just hear that for so many people. And I think that's something that women especially struggle with, is self-doubt. And to hear from someone who knows, and from an organization like yours that, like, no, go for it. Sometimes that's, I think, all the permission that we need.
Yeah, you need the encouragement and the confidence. So, because you have the tools, you just need to figure out the best way to get them out there. So, cool. Okay. So, if you had to give your younger sisters, meaning the women that are about ready to launch, if you had to give them one piece of advice, what would that be?
I think take the crazy class that doesn't seem to match with any of your other classes, or take that side job that looks like you'll learn a lot, but you're not sure it'll connect with the rest of your career. I think I can almost guarantee that everything connects in ways that you don't expect. And in my experience, everything has come together to build my path in a way that I didn't expect. So I say, do what makes you happy. Take those chances.
Love it. That's what works for you. So it seems to be working for you. You graduated early. How did you make that happen, by the way? Before we leave, we have to get that in, because that's an amazing thing that you did.
I did come in with some credits from AP classes, so that really helped a lot. But I was originally double majoring in art history and anthropology. And I realized towards the middle of my last year, that the rest of the art history classes I would have to take were curating and kind of the business of art history focused. And that just didn't necessarily interest me. So I dropped it down to a minor in art and art history so I could take more of the classes I enjoyed. And that ended up opening my schedule up more than I expected it to. So I was able to, I thought it would be possible to graduate a semester early, but that really opened it up to a year.
You go, girl. It takes a lot of acuity to be able to do that. I'm so proud of you. Okay, we have to call it a day, and unfortunately, because I would love to keep talking, but we can keep talking after this, just not live.
Okay.
But in case our listeners want to get in touch with you, Miss Gabriela, what's the best way for them to do that?
Connect with me on LinkedIn. I am happy to connect with anyone. I am connected with Jeannie, so if you want to search for me through her, I am happy to make connections.
Thank you. Thank you for being with us. Thank you for sharing
Thank
your
you for
story.
having me.
Oh my gosh, we're gonna meet you live in New Jersey anyway because we're close, so we're gonna have to meet
Oh
live.
yeah.
Okay, listeners, thank you for being with us today. It's been amazing talking to Miss Gabriela. I call her an angel on her bio. She's Angel Gabriela. And stay tuned for next week. We have Miss Yui Shen, aka Eva, coming to us from China. So stay tuned for that amazing episode. Until then, get out there and slay those dragons.